8時の皆さん、私はね、帰ってきました。まるまラジオが、ウェーイパチパチパチ、一人パチ。いやー、ほんと、さっき、っていうか今、前に話したようなことなんだけど、っていうか人生的に繰り返すのことなんだけど、すごいことを気づいたんですよ、私。まるまラジオを始める準備をしながら、なんか、人がおるのかなと聞いてくれるのかなと、ちょっと考えてたら、独り言なんだよなと思って、結局人生すべて独り言なんだよねと思って、でもまさにそうなんだよね。最近はね、Art and Fear っていう本当に創作と恐怖っていう素晴らしい本をちらっと読んでます。今住んでるところにちょっと置いてあって、これ確かに前もフェネックっていう素晴らしい私のすごい好きなダンスミュージシャンがおすすめしてた本なので、ちょっと読んでみるとなんていうか、創作中に必ず湧いてくる悩みについての話。多分写真家かなと、作者、あの、文章の作者さんが一緒に書いている本で、あなたはね、アートを恐れてやってないなら、これを読んでくださいみたいな本なんだけど、あの、私は別にアートが怖くてないとかはないんだけど、確かにたまにはあの、今日はね、仕事しなくていいから、ちょっと音楽に夢中しようかな。でもね、今日はちょっと気分じゃないよね。ちょっと、今日インスピレーションがないから、やめといて、一日、アニメ見たりする、その方が、精神にいいのかなとか、思う時もあるでしょ。いや、今日はちょっと、やんないかな。でも、その、ちょっと今日はっていう気持ちを分析していくと、その裏はやっぱり恐怖があるんだよね。何の恐怖っていうと、アートをやってみたらうまくいかない恐怖。なんか、今日は本当は多分音楽やりたいんだけど、ギターをちょっと弾いてみたら、今日あんまり作曲できないなと思ったら自分が恥ずかしいというか、やっぱ自分は失敗だなと思う時もあるから、最初からやんない方が安全。そういう恐怖が私にはやっぱりあるんだ。実際ね、その恐怖と戦って乗り越えて、とりあえずギターを弾いてみたら、多分、19拍ぐらい、実際普通楽しいじゃん。普通に心にいいし、糧になるし。で、別に、さらに言うと別に、その時、いい音楽作れなくて全然よくねっていうメッセージがその本にあって、何せ、アートは結果に向けて行うプロセスじゃなくて、プロセス自体が目的なんだよねっていう結論から、最初から結論言ってるんだね、本も私も。まあ、そうなんですよ。そうなんですよ。私はやっぱり最近そういうこだわりがありすぎて、こだわりというか恐怖というか、考えちゃうんだよね。あの、何を出せばいい。新曲がちょっとできそうだなと思うときは必ず、じゃあこの新曲は、何のアルバムに出すか、アルバムも作んなきゃいけないよねとか、この曲の居場所を作って、で、アルバムを出す。で、出すとしたら、それはレーブルで出すか、一人で、相変わらずインディーズ的に出すか、それだったらリパ開くか、それだったらどこでやるか、そもそもオーストラリアでやるか、東京でやるか、京都でやるか、とこがもう永遠に全然実らない考えばっかりをする一方だけど、あの、 それを完全に全部捨てて、全部忘れて、アートだけに集中すべきで、もう一つ言うと、私ね、二次創作書いてるんだよね。これは、あの、みんな、誰もなんかそういう話を振らなくても私は必ず言うんだよね、最近なんか。実はね、すっごい久しぶりに私二次創作書いてます。なんか熱いんだね、私、なぜか。玉浦っていう私の大好きなアニメの二次創作を、まあ、ここ1年間ぐらいでちょこちょこ、本当にちょこちょこやってるんだけど、あの、最初にね、なんか最初のアイディアが、落雷してきて、こういう日常作が読みてえなっていうか書きてえなと思った瞬間の、その次に思ったことは、いやー、二次創作書いたって、この作品の二次創作読みとは、まずいない。本当に探してみたんだけど、まあ、日本語では数々ピクシブ上とかで、あったんやけど、英語で、あの、も2つ ?2 個ぐらいしかなくて、で、その2つも10年前以上に書かれたもんで、ちらって読んでみたら、もう、拙いっていう言葉には物足りないですね。本当に二次創作でしか味わえない拙さがあって、まあそれはそれですごい可愛かったけど、まあこれは多分なんか13歳の女の子が書いたんだろうなと思って。だからその子はまだ世の中にあのいて、まあその子が私の二次創作を読んでくれたとしても味が違うからね、多分あんまり好きでいてくれないと思う。まあまあまあまあ。まあ、つまりね、読者がいないと作者はどうすべきっていう問題になって、で、まあちょっとずる賢くすると、これ、歴史上で、なんかいろいろあると思うんだけど、二次創作の元をこういじって、工夫して、こうキャラ名を変えて、あの、こうオリジナルにする道はあるんだよね。なんかもう話はまあまあ面白かったら、これ玉浦好きな人だけに読んでもらうとちょっともったいないよねとちょっとおこがましくも思って、まあだからリホさんとチモさんじゃなくてオリジナルの2人にこう切り替えてオリジナルの話にするかなと、そういうの考えも私にはあったけど、今日はね、すごい久しぶりに友達と再会して、その子はそうだね、高校時代からの付き合いで、高校生当時2人で二次創作いろいろあの盛り上がってて、その子もめちゃめちゃ文章が好きでうまいし、ずっと二次創作書いてる人で、私はね、誰も読んでいないというか、死んだファンドムというか、なんか誰もいないコミュニティに向けて何か、作ったことある聞いたら、いや、それはもちろんだよ、つって、その時どうするって私が聞いたら、もう、ためらいなく、いや、書くんだって、それだけ言った。書くんだ。そうだなーって私は思って、いや、書くしかねえんだ。で、実は、今年10月、玉浦の聖地巡礼的な、舞台、竹原市、広島県の竹原市に、なんかちょっと久しぶりの、記念イベントがあって、私はなぜか、すごい任さして、切符とかホテルの予約とかも取って、あの、もう行っちゃうんだけど、まあ、そこで私の 英語だけど、私の小説を読んでくれる人をちょっと探しとこうと思った。はい。えそれからね、っていうか、ま、なんか、いや、玉ゆらといえば、そう、最近ちょっと見直してて、で、玉ゆラジオっていう声優さんたちのラジオが当時あって、放送の時。で、それをちらっとね、残ってたから、ネット上で。それちらっと聞いてたら、みんながね、キャーキャーしまくってるんだね。いや、良くも悪くもね。ナットくんいるんだ。ハロー。いや、ナットくんぐらいはね、玉ゆら見てくれる気がするね。もっと強くおすすめしなくちゃ。みんな玉ゆら見てください。もう本当に心の癒し補給。で、そのラジオはね、出てくるキャラは、みんなすごい、落ち着いたっては言わない。のりえちゃんとかはすごいノリノリなんだけど、番組自体的、そうそうそう、番組自体は全体的に言うと落ち着いた番組で、でもたまゆラジオ聞いてみたら、すんごいはしゃいでたみんな、なんかキャーキャーキャー、手探り部活問的な、そういうテンションで、声優はこんなもんだなと思って、で、なんか、ビビったんですよね。あの、なぜなら、いろいろあって、まずは、そのイベント行ったら、みんながこんなテンションで、キャーキャー言ってたら、付き合ってられねえかもしれないな、私と、まず思った。それからは、ラジオ的にね、これはみんなが欲しいテンションですかね、と思った。で、私はあんまりキャーっとしない。で、それを思ったら、思い出した。去年の夏、東京行ってきた時、湖という素晴らしい二人組と対バンできて、あの、なんだっけ、阿佐ヶ谷、もぐもぐでまるまるが、と湖が、素晴らしい対バンでした。本当に思い出に残る、いい演奏でした。で、その後打ち上げで最前もちろん行って、あの、湖の二人といろいろ喋ってたら、途中でなんか、あそこさんが、確かにあそこさんだったよね。が、あの、あれちょっと、なんか、ちょっと意外ですよね。まるまるさん、あんまりギャーっとしないよね。とか言って、なんかちょっと意外だなって言ったんだよね。で、私はなんか、まあ、褒め言葉として捉えてもいいかなと思ったんだけど、別に良くも悪くもなかったんだろうな。ただ、そんなもんだけど、多分その夜か、近くの翌日とか、あの、小松さんっていう、友達に、高円寺の知ってる人は知ってるんだろうな。小松さんに、そういう話してたから、実はね、この間なんか、いろいろ喋ってたら、丸山さんはあんまりギャッとしないよねって言われたんですよね。って言ったら、小松さんは即答でなんか、何それめっちゃギャッとするんじゃんとか言って、めっちゃするねんとか言ってて、そのギャップはそれからずっと気になってるんだよね。もう一年、もうちょっとで一年も経つんだけど、まだ考えてるし、私は果たしてギャッとする人なんですかね。あの、一人でこうやって一人で喋っていると、ギャーとはしない。一人でギャーとする人はいるまず、いるいるかないるんだね、多分。うーん。でも、私のギャーは、やっぱ、あるよね。みんなもそうだろうけど、環境によって適応するっていうか、ま結構ね、音がうるさい環境だったり、人が多い環境だったり、うーん、ちょっと酒が入って、私もそうなんだけど、周りの人とかも酒入ってる環境だったりすると、私は、ちょっと適応してギャーっとすると思うんだけど、そのギャーあんまり好きじゃないと思う。あの、昔から、昔から私はなんでこんなキャラなんだろうなと思ってて、 こう世に出て他に人と接してる自分と自分の部屋で一人でいられる自分がやっぱり違くて、その一人の自分の方がよっぽど好きと思って、もっとそういう自分を外で出せたらいいのになと思ってた。んで、まあ、まだ思ってるんですよね。私はやっぱり一対一の会話とかすごく好き。何より好き。まあ、マックス3人だね。その方が、ギャッとしない冷静を保てるから、こうやって、ちょっと、を置いたりしてもいいような冷静を保つ。あの、そうじゃないと、まあ今日だって外に出て一緒にリサイクルショップで服買いに行ったんですけど、その高校の友達。で、やっぱりちょっとテンションが上がっちゃった。上がって思った。あの、いろいろ高速で喋っちゃって、で、ちょっとやっぱり声がうるさくなったりして、で、もう好きなアニメの話になっちゃったらもう止まらなくなったりして、やっぱりギャーッとする時もありますけど、それは、自分はあんまり好きじゃないな。まあだからこそこういうラジオをやってるんじゃないかな。もっと落ち着いた自分を世に出すようにとか言うんだけど、普通に英語に切り替えたらめっちゃギャッとするよね、私。そういうギャップも、ずっと前から気にしてるよね。英語の私と日本語の私。でもやっぱり、それだから日本語が好きだろうな。なんだろうね。やっぱり言葉が不自然だから、第二言語だから、いろいろ考えなきゃいけないから、ギャッとできない、物理的にできないかもしれないね。まあだからこそ日本語の自分が好きかな。わお、ひらめいたかもしれないね。まあまあまあ、ちょっとギャーっとなりかけてるから、ちょっと音楽流しますね。ちょっと紹介するけど、まあ、Dr. Spaceman っていうバンド、私は入ってるよね。みんな聞いてくれてますか？あの、実は、2013年だからもう13年前からできて、あの、まあ、2年ぐらい続いてるんだけど、それからしばらく溝ができたというか、みんなバラバラになっちゃって、メルボルン行ったり、私はもちろん日本行ったりして、でも、まあ、3年前からみんなはシドニーに合流して、あの、またやろうかって話があって、まあ、そんなままでまたやってます。で、新曲を先日出しました。Love Relentless っていう私のめちゃくちゃ前に作った曲。めちゃくちゃ前に。多分2010、いや、15年だろうなと思ったら実はもっと前やった。2014年ぐらいに作曲した曲で。でそれをね、ネット上の友達とコラボしてた時、アイディアを、あの、お互い送ってた時期に、こう、歌詞を、コード進展と、進行と、歌詞を作って、その友達に送って、これどうっつったら、いや、ちょっとボツだなって言われて、と私は思って、いや、結構いいと思うから、まあ、別の別の会社にドッジスペースマンに、あの、売り込みに持ってきて、そのままロックソングにしたんですよね。で、まあ、これも実は二次創作の元ネタだね、が二次創作で、しかも恥ずかしいんだけど、マイリトルポニーの二次創作なんだけど、まあ当時はそればっかりとか読んでて、やっぱ恋愛もの、昔からずっと好きやったな。恋愛ものの二次創作は昔からずっと好きやったな。別に恋愛ものが好きっていう、あんまり自覚がないんだけど、最近ちょっと湧いてきたな。 別になんかどういう映画が好きですかって聞かれたら、恋愛映画言わないけど、私の読んでる漫画、ゆり漫画ばっかりで、結構恋愛ものばっかりだし、二次創作なら必ずしも恋愛も読んでるし、まあそういう恋愛ばっかの気持ちを込めて作った曲なんですけど、じゃあ聴きましょうか。これ Love Relentless の曲です。で、これは流れてくるかしら。あ、こうしないと。ほい、ちょっと休憩入れますね。You hit my heart like a sucker punch. Now I feel this feeling far too much. I can't slow it down. I can't slow down. Stumbling, crashing in through walls and windows, falling through the floor. I can't control this. Can't control myself. I can't even count the days since his hurricane first blew me away. Time goes by, and I'm still so damn shy. Oh, I'm still trying to pick his side, 'cause there's this war inside my mind. Oh, how should I please you? Do I just stay at you? Contrivances aside, I can't correct my course. I'm drawn towards you. Do you have a book on this? Did you lose it in the mess I made? Help me find a way to read the lines, to vocalize, to say I just wanna stay a while longer. Have I ever felt so hollow? Have I ever felt so full? Would you make your mind and please decide completely or release me? Have I ever felt so hollow? Have I ever felt so full? Would you make your mind and please decide completely or release me from your pool?短っそう、ロックスペースマンのチャームポイントはね、曲は短いことだね。なんかもう2曲流そうかなと思ったんだよね。もうちょっと休憩が欲しかったら。でも、もう一つの流す曲は、Love Relentless より短いし。なんだろうね。凝縮、良さが凝縮されてて、濃厚な良さがあるでしょう。そう、それは今、まあ、ゆるゆるな感じでアルバムを作ろうと、まあ、作ろうと、そうだね。多分、アルバムができるほどの曲は今余ってるけど、あの、それぞれ作曲家3人がおって、それぞれの曲を持ち込んできて、みんなで作っていく感じのバンドなので、まだまだその作っていくプロセスは始まっていない、ほとんどね。でも、まあ、つまり後ほどは、こぼちぼち、ポロポロって感じで新曲も出すつもりし、まあ、いつか来年とかアルバムも出すつもりなんですけど、いや、つもりなんですけど、私はね、もう日本に帰っちゃうと思うからどうなるかちょっと不安もあるよね。それはな。あ、ありがたい、ありがたい、あったかい、温かい言葉でですね。ナット君が。ありがとう。ありがとう、聞いてくれて。Thank you for listening. そうですね。そう、なんか近所アップデートとか話そうと思ったら、あの、今、まあ、ずっとそうなんだけど、私、行き先のない切符を買ってしまったんですよね。あれ、また玉ゆらのネタになっとるの。うん、そうなんですよ。私、玉ゆらしか考えられない今。いや、でも、そう、後先考えずいろいろ行動をとってしまってきて、今はね、来年どこで過ごすとか、どこで住むとか、何をするとか、もう暗闇です。あの、多分ね、京都に戻りたい気持ちがあって、でも、ま適当に大学でも入ろうかなっていう提案もありますけど、この間、本当にもう落雷みたいに突然メルボルンがものすごく懐かしくなって、で、まあ考えてみたら、シドニーは生まれてきた故郷なんだけど、ずっと嫌いやったし、で、初めてシドニーに出たら、その引っ越し先はメルボルンで、2年ぐらい住んでて、2年しか住んでなかったとも言えるんだけど、2年住んだら、こう、自分の力で友達を初めて作った気がするよね。なんだろうね。まあ、大人として、うーん、やっぱり自分地元でさ、高校で、まあ、めちゃめちゃいい友達もできたんだけど、ほとんどはね、たまたま6年間ずっと一緒にいる人でさ、別に自分で探して意気投合して友達になった人とかじゃないよね。ちょっと別の種類の友達なんだろうな。もちろん長く今でも続いてる付き合いもあるんだけど、まあこうやっぱり20歳以上ね、もういい年になってから新しい町引っ越してきたら、そこで出会う人とか100%ぐらい、100%ではないんだけど、ほとんどはね、こう、自力で、あの、友達作んなきゃって気持ちで、必死にでも探して自分で生み出した関係なんだから、もっと有意義な付き合いがメルボルンの方にあるんだろうと、最近ちょっと懐かしくも思ってきた。不安になるね。自分の未来が。本当に雪でねえやつだな。そうだね。まあ、確かなことは、あの、なんだろう。この、この秋、いや、違うね。南半球だから春だね。私はね、やっぱり間違って南半球に生まれてきたと思うんで、この10月くらいにはメルボルンをちょっと行ってきて、あの、友達のこう演劇の生音楽をやらせてもらってるんで、そこで、まあ2週間ぐらいはおるので、自分の気持ちの分析や整理もできるんだろう。それからは広島県飛んでしまいますね。広島県行って自分の気持ちをまた分析して整理して、この分析の繰り返しを広げるんでしょうね。ずっとずっと。まあそろそろ英語に切り替える時間っていうか、まあお茶入れて、ちょっと休憩して、ギャーを払い切って、英語に切り替える時間ですけど、今はね、ちょっと3人ぐらいは見てるらしいから、なぜかそれが、こ最低限になってる私の心で。私はね、めちゃめちゃ恥ずかしいことをします。あの、まずは認める、それから共有する。3年前ね、3年前の夏、こっちの夏ね。だから、正月ぐらいに、ピクシブでゆり小説のコンテストが発見しました、私。で、勢いで、当時付き合ってた子も日本人で、日本語で一緒に小説を書こうぜってすごい盛り上がったんだ。でも締め切りはなんか2週間後ぐらいで私は見つけたから、すごい結構必死に2週間で、 ラフを作り上げたんで、まあもちろんラフすぎて投稿しなかったんだけど、私はなんかこう、初めてではなかったんだけど、日本語で文章を書く機会があまりなかったから、どうなるか、どうなるかってすごい気になってたし、で、その当時付き合ってた子に読んでもらって、読んでもらえたらあの、すっごい複雑な褒め言葉で、これはね、日本語のネイティブの人が書くような拙い文章ですって言われて、いやー、ネイティブような拙さって素晴らしい言い回しやった。それでちょっと心が折れて、まあそりゃそうだな、まだまだだなと思って、まあ、ほっといたんですよね。でも今年はなぜかやっぱり放っておけないなと思って復活させた小説で、ナハさんっていう素晴らしい友達のおかげで一緒になんか執筆会を何回も何回も開いて一緒に作業をしながら、私は精一杯懸命にこのくだらないゆり小説を作り上げた。ようやくでもできました。これは決して名作ではない。でもそのさっきおっしゃったArt and Fear の本の中で書かれた Wisdom、知恵があって、それはね、自分の作るアートの、まあ、9割ぐらいはその残ってるものすごく素晴らしい輝いてる輝かしい1割を磨くためのクソのような9割だよねみたいな、今のはすごいクソのようなあの文章だけど、まあそうなんだよね。ほとんど自分の作ってるアートのほとんどはこう素晴らしくない、ただただ自分の腕を磨いてるよね。原石を磨いてる、そのプロセスの結果だからね。これはね、別にその磨く作業の結果じゃなくて、磨いてる途中を見せてるところなんですけど、一応チャットでね、ちょっと貼っとく私のゆり小説、どうぞ、気が向いたら、なんやろ、結構短いから多分20分ぐらいで読めるんだろうな。まあ、もしよかったらで、コメントも、ぜひぜひ欲しいっす。別に褒めてもらうんじゃなくて、批評が無償に欲しい。自分の書く日本語がどこが間違ってるとか、まあ、あわよくばどこが素晴らしいとか、それをちょっと聞きたいけど、何よりどこが間違ってるかすごい気になってるから、誰か訂正してくれませんか？本当にちょっと必死なんだ。いやー、それではちょっとお茶入れてくるから、まあ、納得になったら、まあ、誰でもよかったら、英語枠は、あと10分だね、10分ほど始まります。あ、一人が、ほいって言ってくれるんだ。ありがたい、ありがたい。あの、いやー、嬉しいですね。やっぱり。やっぱ、アートはね、独り言なんだけど、シェアするのは、共有するのは、すごい根本的な人間の行動だよね。それはなんか、抗えないぐらい、ごく自然な行動だよね。ものすごく自意識過剰になる時もあるというか、それは人生のほとんどなんだけど、シェアすべきなんだよね。拙い音楽とか、拙い有利小説も、で、素晴らしい小説も、音楽も、すべてアートはオープンするべき。もう自分が何言ってるか分かんなくなった。ギャッとしてますよね、今。今はまさにギャッとしてる。早く分かんなくちゃ。これはね、まるまるラジオでした。まるまるラジオって言ったね、今。間違ってたね。まるまるラジオでしたよね。うん、まるまるラジオあった。聞いてくれてありがとう。英語枠は後ほど。それでは。 And we're back with Marumaradio. I'm your host, Marumaradio. Wait, yes, that is my name, Marumaru. Have I ever explained in English that it was a bit, don't worry, but I was like, I'm a VTuber whose name is Marumaru, and I like picked kanji, the appropriate kanji for it. I thought it was very funny and cute, and clearly one of those things where it's been a hot minute for various reasons. I was in Japan, famously, on a tour with Lee Sullivan and the Sleepers for 2 weeks. It was very exhausting. I was in a very bad place. I arguably still am, but let's get into that later. I was very, very exhausted for 2 weeks on this tour, which was fun, but also exhausting. I got to play drums in a band. They let me play drums. Can you believe it? I am really not a great drummer, and I am shocked and amazed that they let me do it. Let alone that it seemed to kind of go off okay. It went over okay. I had this really funny feeling. It was the first gig of the tour. We played with this band called Warm, spelled WALM, which frustrates me to no end. I love it when people like trust non-native English speakers to find all the fucked up loopholes in the English language. Anyway, we played with our friend Zach, I Plus Everything, Zach and Kuma, and they were great, like psych, loopy, kind of psych folk, layered vocals and experimental, DL4 loop pedal shit. Very lovely. Then Warm come on, and they are a 7-piece band, the fucking ensemble. We're playing in this record store Mogu Mogu, which is, it's a long store, it's deep, but it's narrow. You know what I mean? Like it would even out if it were a square, it would be quite a normal sized venue, but it's a really narrow rectangle. Anyway, so 7 people could not fit on the stage. They were spilling out. At least 3 of them were off the stage. 4 of them were just jam-packed onto the stage. The most insanely tight, elaborately orchestrated. I'm going to play a song from them later and you'll understand. Just like, oh my God. And then we went on, and God bless the rest of the band. We're great. Nick flew in from Canada and had not played with us until the day before. Like, Nick is a friend of Lee's, he's a friend of all of us, and they go way back, and they've played in, Lee played for Nick last year at some point. There's a musical kinship there, but we are not a set band. This was like a makeshift Sleepers for the tour. I am not a drummer, and I had not played drums with the band until the day before this gig. Every single piece of confidence I had, and I had confidence. We did a 4-hour rehearsal the day after everyone landed, and I was like, hey, we're gonna kill this. This is awesome. I'm the best drummer actually ever. Then I watched Warm, and I was like, I need to commit. I've learned about the ritual of seppuku in my time in this country. I need to do that immediately. I was just so embarrassed that I completely fucked every part. And they were very polite afterwards. The drummer himself was like, "You seem fine. You were playing in a way that I hadn't really heard much before. I wonder if that's the Australian style." And I was like, "That's the nicest way to say I was doing a sloppy job that I've ever had." I very much appreciated it. He's a pumper and Stan. We had an interesting conversation about the Sanrio election, which, if we have time, I might get to later in this episode. I sort of promised a lot in my Instagram post. I was like, we're going to be talking about Art and Fear, Sanrio, the Hella Gay Girls anime that I tried writing when I was 21. Other things. There's way too much to get to in one episode. So we'll see what fate has in store for us. To finish the initial train of thought, the tour was nice. The bands we played with were really great. We played with this band called Marumaru in Kyoto, which was delightful. It was very funny. I've sort of had this I guess I'll call it a complex for a second. When I was living over there, I didn't play very many gigs because it was COVID for the most part. But when I did, I was playing. I mean, you know that a lot of my songs are like fanfics about anime that I love, but a lot of them are actually about me and my extremely profoundly depressing queer feelings. And I was singing these very personal songs to people who were like, "Yeah, I didn't really get any of that, but I like your melodies." And I was like, "Thanks. That is nice, but I wish you guys understood what I was trying to get across. It's almost like music is people trying to connect through art and convey things about themselves." So then I took it upon myself to start writing in Japanese just for the occasions. Like literally, I was like, if I'm gonna keep playing shows in Japan, which it seems like I will, I should have some things to trot out for this. Um, and I did. And the first time that I ever played one of them was in Sydney to a crowd that did not understand them. And I thought it was funny then. And then I got to play a good few of them in Kyoto. And definitely, like my neighbor Yuki was like, she speaks English and Japanese, but she was like, it hit me more in Japanese. It was great to hear that. But it was not lost to me the irony that I was playing to my friends from Australia all of these new Japanese songs. I'm like, Jesus, I'm just always going to be lost in translation somewhere along the way. Oh well, I did this to myself. Haha, cell phone. So I came back and immediately got sick. Actually, I got sick literally the day of the gig. In the afternoon, I was like, oh, yep, there it is. Okay, cool. And then somehow managed to play 2 sets, collapsed the next day, flew home sick, got a sinus infection, was in bed for like 2 weeks. The film festival happened and I was in the cinema for 2 weeks. And then I moved, and I am currently subletting in a music share house with my music friends, which is, I, okay, that pause was way too conspicuous. I was just going to say that there are times where I really desperately want to be by myself a lot. Like, it's very, I mean, like I get my little autistic meltdowns or whatever. But even without that, I've lately I've been feeling like, oh man, I'm just like, I'm supposed to live on the mountain 5 days a week and I come down on the weekends and I be with people. But like the 5 days, I'm supposed to be spending 120 hours a week in solitude. But but um, last night, my housemates were like, "Hey, we're all around. We're all free. You want to jam?" And we just spent like 3 hours jamming in the garage, and it flew by. And I was like, "Oh, you know what? Living with people, especially musicians, is actually pretty cool." So the jury is still out on exactly how many hours of the week I'm supposed to be spending up a mountain in hermetic solitude, hermitude. Yeah. Anyway, all of that brings us to July. And right now, it's Marumaradio. Oh, I wish I had a soundboard. I would have played like a air horn, or better than an air horn, um, a radio tag, like an ID tag, like Marumaradio. Can't do that voice. So I guess I'll talk about Love Relentless a little bit because that's new as well. Dr. Spaceman put out a new song. I played it in the first half of the radio session. If you guys heard it, I hope you like it. I hope you like it. Um, I I admitted what it's about in Japanese. I'm not going to admit in English. I want there to be plausible deniability about what fanfiction I wrote it about. I don't remember the name of the fic. I genuinely don't. I'm not sure if I could find it at this point. Um, but I remember the ship. Yeah, I'm not. Anyway, it's about shipping, and it's about a character who's in love with another character. But I think it's so perfect that I wrote it that song that way because it's so about me and the way that I am in love with fic, and it's the way that I get hopelessly obsessed with crushes with people, and then instead of talking to them like a normal person would, I uh, beat my head against the wall and curse God for creating me and having to experience the emotions of a crush. And then I read a lot of fanfiction. Um, that's me. That's just me. Well, would this segue into the anime that I tried to write? It would. I think I'm going to talk about this. We're going to play a song, and then we're going to get to the Yuri corner, which Yuri Talk always takes up the lion's share of this. Um, so it's pretty public knowledge, right? That the hashtag Hella Gay Girls. I say public knowledge because my Twitter was initially unlocked for many, many years. And that was where I was really posting about Hella Gay Girls. Um, Basically, I had this from 2013 to like 2016 at a stretch. I was entertaining the idea, primarily in 2014 though, of writing a concept album based on this idea for a magical girl anime that I had. And I was like, well, I can't make an anime. How am I supposed to get that through the production pipeline in Australia? We don't have an arts industry. Um, a very valid complaint. So I was like, all right, I will keep writing some script ideas. I will keep the text editor documents flowing, but primarily, if this has an output, it will be through music. So I basically was writing this thing uh, haphazardly, many scenes missing, just skipping from like, and then like here's how they meet, and then there'll be a montage, and then here's how they get together, and then there'll be probably a something an inciting incident has to happen at some point, and then they're all depressed, and that's the real meat and potatoes of it. I'll figure out how to make them depressed later. I'll write that later, but here are the girls, and here's the gay, and then here's the bit where everything's sad and they die. Um, and then I was basically writing songs that were fanfic of that, or a lot of them were from the perspective of characters in the thing. Uh, some of these, I say this because we have Violet in the chat. I don't know how many other old. I'm so tempted to use. Um, I'm not going to say it out loud right now, but there's a 4chan term, and I'm not a 4chaner, but the term old f slur is seared into my brain, and I use it all the time when I'm talking to myself. And I'm not going to say it out loud, but we have some oldies present in the chat. So you may remember songs like Teen Angst and even Kamikaze and a new song which never got an actual name that were posted on my old Charax channel. These were all songs in the Hella Gay Girls universe, and it never eventuated because I never finished anything. And I tried writing a trans character. I was like, I think it'd be cool to have a trans magical girl. Um, I just think that'd be a cool idea. I'm a cis boy, but I'm pretty forward thinking. I'm pretty progressive like that. Um, if if we were putting pronouns in our bio in 2014, which I assure you we weren't, I would have been doing it because I'm a yeah. Oh, you're finally learning, Vi. Okay, okay, okay. Well, I won't skip all the juicy details then. This is the real juicy bit. Is yes, in like literally in 2014, I had the thought, uh, I want to put a trans character in, not the main character, but we wouldn't because if you make then it would be like a trans thing, and we don't want that. But there should be a trans character in there, and I guess luckily for me, I have some friends on the internet who have just recently come out as trans, so maybe I can ask them about it and get their experience and sort of write from that. And then 2015, my entire brain broke, uh, and I became trans through viral contact. So it's really funny. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. So the main characters of this thing, and this is all I was laughing at it as I was doing it, but I was again, it was like, wouldn't this be dumb? But also, I really want this. The way I reconciled the part of me that wanted to write this as a literal Japanese anime, despite not being a literal Japanese, and the part of me that wanted to write it as more like an American style comic, despite not being American. What is my upbringing is terrible, atrocious. The way I reconciled this within the text was that I guess, yeah, the main character was called Avery Wilkinson, and her love interest, the second main character, was just straight up called Yuko Yurishiro, which is so funny to me. So funny. I just stole Yurishiro from Yuriko Marashi after I watched it. I don't remember what her working name was before that. Yuko was. It was like an homage to a couple of characters, I think. it was like Yuka from Nichijou, and Mako, I took the Ko from Kill la Kill. And honestly, I'm gonna say it because it's coming up. I think I was like you from Sakura Trick, which I was so into in 2014. For some reason, I, a straight cis boy, was really into Sakura Trick in 2014. I can't wrap my head around why. Um, yeah, so there was just kind of this running thread where I was like, what country does this story take place in? I don't know. It's not America and it's not Japan and it's not Australia. It's not like anywhere. It's kind of all of them at the same time. And it would just be this extremely incongruous setting. Um, did Sakura Trick crack? Like, I mean, and then crack doesn't happen in one go. It's a slow process, but I really think one of the dents along the way was those two. I have to watch that again as an adult woman. I have to go back and see what that was about. I recommended it to my sister at the time as well. I was like, we're getting good lesbian media at last. We're getting good lesbian representation. Look at this. I recommended that, and then I recommended Yuri Kumo when it came out, and they were like, I can't stand either of these. What's wrong with you? Anyway, um, getting back to the extremely glaringly pertinent point that the main character was called Avery. It was just on name on my list of character names, which we all carry around in our portable text edit, notes apps of choice. We carry a list of names that we would like to give fictional characters, and I was like, it's the prettiest name. And I think I later, as I was kind of really wrapping my head around the gender stuff, I sort of had this thought of like, um, even though I had very much the cogent thought that I'm not becoming a new person by transitioning, I am improving what was already there. Really just like editing out a lot of waste, cutting the fat. But there is undeniably a sense of like renewal and rebirth. So I was like, okay, this is probably the best chance I'm ever going to get in my life besides moving cities to reinvent myself. What kind of person do I want to be? Who do I want to be as a girl? And I looked at this thing that I was writing, and it was painfully apparent at some point along the way that these two characters are kind of two sides of myself. And I thought that was really meaningful when I first realized it. And then later on, as I kept writing things, I was like, no, every character I write is just a different part of myself. It wasn't actually that important or like psychologically meaningful. But Yuko was extremely chipper, like all of the people, namesakes she got her name from, basically. Extremely self-conscious about her chippiness and like overenthusiasm and tendency to like talk too much and be too loud and be overenthusiastic. And Avery was very cool, calm, and composed, very reserved, and people thought that she was perhaps like extremely cool, extremely like collected, possibly even intimidating, but she's actually just extremely awkward and one doesn't know how to really like interact with people. And when you actually talk to her, she is just as much of a nerd as you go, but just doesn't go around yelling a lot. I need a sip of tea, hold on. So as I was transitioning, I was like, well, it's the prettiest name. We've established that. And even though in the story she meets with an extremely horrible fate, I think that that's the part of me that I want to put out more into the world. And this is what I was actually talking about on the Japanese side of the show, that excuse me, I really do have a tendency, as I'm doing right now, to like blab and shout at times even. This is an important part of my character. I entertain it a lot. It exhausts me though. It is sort of like I'm running on gas at times. Definitely part of that, it can be masking where I'm just like, I'm expending energy because I don't know what to do. But there is, like, I get super, when I talk about Yuri and I get all like, whatever. That's a beautiful part of me as well. but I also get very self-conscious about it. And I'm like, why can't I just be like cool? Why can't I just be chill? And people are like, yo, who's that? Just like sitting in the corner at the party, like, but not in like a sad way, like looking really fine with everything. And then you go over and you're like, what's up? And she's like, do you want to talk about movies for 3 hours? And you're like, yeah, obviously, with you, yes. That was the person I aspired to be if I was aspiring to be anybody, and you. Hence, I took the name Avery for myself. And then I was left with this half finished script for a show I would never finish, and a couple of song ideas for a concert album based on it, where the main character had the same name as me, and I was like, well, this can't ever be a thing now. This has to just be buried in the bottom of my psyche and stay with me and entertain me internally till the end of days. But this is never gonna eventuate or anything. And when I ported laptops at some point in the last couple of years, yeah, I think when I got my new MacBook, I ported all my notes across, and for some reason the scripts didn't come with me. And I was like, I wonder what that's about. And I just never bothered to follow up on that. And then like last month, I was like, no, I really need to make sure that those are still around. That's an important part of my personal history. And so I found them on my old laptop and I started rereading them this month. And I'm like, oh man, I love this thing. It's so trashy at times. And then there are occasionally just like some moments where I'm like, no, this is actually, I'm sorry, but I think this is actually good. And I owe it to myself to finish this. So that's the whole thing. I have to think about whether I'm gonna start writing my God. And there were some songs on that album that were really nice. I guess Fi, you weren't around for Teen Angst. Do you not have Teen Angst on MP3, the most like apocryphal track of all time? That honestly I probably have emailed directly to like 60% of my fan base at this point, or like included as a bonus somewhere or other. I think I'm gonna record it actually properly as a B-side. Just calling the shot. The B-side for... I want the B-side for the first single for my next album to be Teen Angst. Follow through to see what happens. Let me post the link to Teen Angst in the chat. While I'm doing that, we're gonna listen to Bags, a song by Warm, the band, the aforementioned band that Lee and I and the crew played with at Mogu Mogu in Tokyo. I'm gonna go grab the link, post in the chat. Bags, here we go.
そこの目を塞いでほしいのさ
Yeah, so we had to go on after that. And like, no joke, the band live sounded exactly. Are we back? I think we're back. That was weird, right? Wait, are we back? I'm such a professional. Okay, good, we are back. That was amazing timing. I was just like, you're listening to Marumaradio, and then I looked at the stream and I was just like, go live! I was wondering when the technical difficulty would happen. It was all fine during the first half. Um, yes, and just a little extra clarity for teen angst, just while I'm on the subject. That file, I don't think there even is a WAV of that anymore. I think it's just the MP3. It was a demo I recorded while I was cat sitting. At the same time that I was recording slash finishing, no, I was finishing. Actually, I really did a lot of that in the same go. The Helpful Cuppa EP. It was around that time. And I think it was also probably around the time, because I remember being at that house when I was recording the vocals for Hymn of the Haunted Hunter. So this was like, there was a concentrated period in early 2014 where I was killing it, at least internally. I was just having the nicest time. I was making more music. I was being so productive, so creative. And then I had to go and get sad. Well, it's already been half an hour. I could probably wrap the stream up soon, but I haven't talked about Yuri at all, really. I mean, we can count Hella Gay Girls. Working title of the series, by the way. It will have a better name. There's an actual like name for it that I don't think is particularly great, so I went with hashtag Hella Gay Girls instead while I try to figure it out. Eerie. Can I just clarify? I'm really nervous that I'm not online anymore. I think I am though, so I'm just gonna keep talking. Oh, when's that ever stopped me talking about Yuri? We gotta talk about Kamina Botan, guys. We gotta talk about this. Are we all watching? Are we across this? Kamina Botan fully blossoms when drunk. 髪のボタン、言われ姿は百合の花。I cannot freaking believe this show. Okay, good. We are online. This is all good. My chat's not loading on Streamlabs, but it's fine. I can see you on my phone. Okay, so this show, like, I was cognizant of the manga. Um, it was just I'm cognizant of many Yuri manga. But I was like, okay, this looks like one of those things where it's gonna be 90% about drinking different kinds of alcohol and like talking about how the alcohol is made, what it tastes like, where you can buy it or whatever. Uh, and 10% about cute girls. So I was like, okay, I mean, I like 10% cute girls. Um, I'll get to that at some point, but it's low priority because I don't drink and I want shows with characters ultimately. I am brain rotted from years of fanfic, as earlier established. So I ignored the manga, and then the anime gets adapted. And yeah, bear with me here. Fine, okay. So I'm lazing around in Kyoto. I think it was probably when I was sick on tour, and I was like, it's there, it's there. I'm just looks cute. It's an anime. It'll breeze by, and you know, I'm like, I watched the episode. I'm like, this is cute. I mean, all these girls are really pretty, and the animation is good, and they are drinking, but it's not really about the alcohol itself that much. Like it's about chilling out and like this life in a little university dorm with like these five and then later six girls. As it goes on, like there is a lot of alcohol in the show. Obviously, if somebody drinks something at some point every episode, there is probably like three times in the whole thing where somebody like turns to the camera and goes like, "Wow, this has a really full-bodied taste" or whatever. It is 90% about women who are so attracted to each other and they cannot process what's happening and they don't know how to be in love with each other, and 10% about alcohol. It's incredible. I like truly, I was flabbergasted. I was like, when is this going to be really about alcohol or really about women? And it became really about women really quickly. And I don't even want to spoil it because I insist that you all watch it. Um, every episode is like helmed by a different animation director apparently, which is really an interesting like production thing. You can absolutely tell there are a couple of particular episodes where you're just like, wow, this style is like really different here. Like episode 3, it's just like, what's happening? Like, did they lose budget? No, it's just stylized in a particularly cute, fun way. Um, it's so good. The soundtrack is lovely. The opening is good, but then there's a episode later where there's like two tracks from the same band that are just kind of playing over these like interstitial shots of the main characters like walking around Tokyo, and it's one of the most like cool ambiences ever. And that I downloaded that EP and I currently cannot stop listening to the whole thing. It's great. Yonige, I wish I could play them on the show, but I feel like I'd get copyright struck or whatever. Yeah, I'll stop now, but let me just say there are many Yuri series that I love. There are very few Yuri series that I love, like to the point, not even that I love, like that made me feel gay panic to the point where I nearly punched a wall or like flap my legs like Yamada does when she gets a phone call from Kase. Like that real, like, oh my god, fangirling shit. This is one of them. I cannot recommend it enough. Um, it's so oh my god. Okay, we got our required Yuri talk out of the way. I just if yeah, I don't want to. I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but maybe I'll give you like a month or two to watch it, and then we will talk about spoilers on a later episode. I have to when I'm back in the country, I'm gonna purchase all of the manga immediately, and I'm praying for a season 2. I think it's really fucking sick. I'll just say this, it's unrelated, but one of the main characters is a cinephile. Like, actually, multiple of the main characters are cinephiles, and there are like bits where they're just talking about movie recommendations for like extended periods of time. And they're like, "Oh, have you seen Gloria?" And somebody's like, "Oh, the one with so and so in it." And she's like, "No, that's like the remake. I'm talking about the John Cassavetes original." And like, "Oh no, I haven't seen that one. I mean, talking about Cassavetes, I've seen this and this, or whatever." I'm like, "What the fuck? What is happening?" I got so much homework from that show. Phew. All right, it's late. It's 22:22 according to my 24-hour time clock, and my housemates are probably wondering who the fuck I'm talking to. So let's put this to bed. Gosh, I have such a hard time winding down once I've been wound up. Thanks for listening to Yuri Radio. I've been your host, Yuri. We're all across that I picked the middle name Lily because so I can say literally Yuri is my middle name, right? I've done this bit publicly as well. I've made so many strange life choices that I must now live with. Oh, it's a treasure to be alive every day. This has been Marumaradio. Yuri Radio. Well, that's like the Yuri. Fucking. I'll rename the whole thing. I'll rename myself and I'll rename the show. It's been a blast. Thank you, Vi. Thank you, Nat. My dedicated fan base. Enjoy Teen Angst. I love that song. I feel like I'm gonna have a really hard time recording it properly as a B-side because it just like it's such a perfect time capsule, that MP3 of where I was at in 2013-14. Anyways, Nat, you can just change your name to I guess Yahweh is a difficult word to translate. I mean, if you made your middle name Rose, then Bara could be your middle name. That's pretty sick. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, let's end the fucking stream. Oh, I gotta play the end of the stream song. Boop, 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 boop. Where are you? There it is. Now the stream is ending. Okay. I've been Marumaradio. I've been Marumaradio. I will do this again sometime soon, like bi-weekly or something. So keep an ear to the wind. Anyway, adios. Watch Camino Botan.